Alright, in this video, I want to share with you guys how I audit my blogs so that you guys can understand where you can go find keywords and also things people are searching for within your blog. In this video, I wanted to share with you a few of my favorite tools, my top 3 tools to kind of figure out what I should be writing about. And a lot of you guys probably already have an idea list of things to write about, as do I, but at the same time, you have to kind of focus and hone in on what people are actually searching for so that your content can show up organically. So if you're into SEO, which is all about organic traffic, not paying for that traffic, and you want your content to rank, this video is for you, because oftentimes as bloggers, you guys already have great ideas, right, on things to write about, but you might not necessarily have it with the right intent in mind. And so what I want to do is kind of share with you the tools that you can use to kind of understand how you can write your content in a way that is discoverable by readers that you want to come to your site. So stay tuned. Before I get started with this, I wanted to share with you that I have a newsletter that I send out every Friday at around 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. And it basically shares all the tips and tricks that I'm trying real time so that you guys can kind of learn from my mistakes as I go along or learn from my successes that I have. I share with you guys all the tools I use, whether I pay for them, whether I don't pay for them, any YouTubers that I find inspirational in terms of like just learning about online marketing in the digital space, and also things I learned as I progressed my career in the paid search field. So I want to share with you guys all the things I learned from the industry side, from the enterprise side, all the way to content creators. So feel free to go ahead and sign up for that newsletter. Once you sign up, you'll also get access to my free resource library where I share like PDFs and ebooks and stuff that you can download for free that you can access and read through, and hopefully it helps you guys build better content for your blogs. So let's get started on the tutorial. So the first one I'm going to show you is SEMRush. It is very expensive, I will tell you that, but I think you get 10 free searches a month, and it gives you like a limited set of data. And the reason why I use SEMRush is to, number one, check on blogs that are similar to mine to get ideas on blog posts to write. Not necessarily copy, but like kind of think through like the strategies that they're using and maybe implement them myself. So SEMRush is a great one to kind of spy on competitors, as well as kind of like generate ideas on things to write about. The second tool I'm going to show you is also Google Search Console, and Search Console should be set up so that you can actually see what people are searching for and how they get to your site. So I'll kind of show you that as well. And then the third tool I want to show you is the SEO book tool called Free Keyword Density Analyzer. And that one is also a great way to look at a blog post that maybe you want to rank above, and that'll give you insight. But you can also do the same thing with SEMRush. This is a free tool that you sign up and get access to, so it's pretty easy, but it doesn't give you as comprehensive of detail as SEMRush. And then the fourth tool I want to share with you is Google Adwords. You definitely have to set up a Google Adwords account in order to use the keyword planner tool. And all of these tools I'm going to share with you is a way to curate ideas, make sure that you are writing content based on what people's search intents are, because what you don't want to have happen is you spend a ton of hours trying to create content, and then you create this content and no one finds it because the Google bot like can't figure out what your content is about. And so here I'm showing you these tools so that you can kind of curate your content in a way that is answerable via a search query on the internet. Let me just rephrase that so it makes a little bit more sense. So someone who comes to Google or Bing or whatever the search engine is searching for a key phrase. There is an intent behind their search. So what you want to do is that you want to understand what intent your blog post that you're going to create is answering. So if you start writing a lot of content around your personal experiences and then you start talking about the intent that they're actually like coming for, it wouldn't make sense for a bot to kind of crawl your page and make that the authoritative source for that search intent. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and go into the tools so that I can kind of explain to you what the tools can do, and then maybe it'll make more sense as we go along. All right, the first tool I want to share with you guys is SEMRush. SEMRush, again, is a paid tool. It's pretty expensive, but it gives you a lot of data that you otherwise wouldn't have. So when I go into SEMRush, once I've logged in, right, and if I'm trying to look at a competitor, or if I'm trying to look at a blog that someone's written that's kind of in a similar niche, and I want to be able to kind of like compare the content or understand like how they structured it or just information about their site, it's really, really easy. My biggest tip is if you go in here and you put semrush.com/info/ whatever the site is, I'll just do CNN, right? I can go in here and I can see their authority score. This number right here doesn't really matter, is what I've heard, but the goal here is to get your authority score up. So the higher you are, the more authoritative you are. So CNN is 87 apparently. And then organic traffic, you can see these are the numbers that are being pulled in, right? So you can see for all time, right? Like what their organic traffic looks like over time. So apparently, if you search for CNN, obviously it would be the #1 position. But if you look up weather, CNN would be #7. So actually, let's just try that and see if that's true. So I'm going to go and type in weather. Okay. Let's see where CNN comes in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 7. Look at that. It's pretty accurate. So I've actually never checked that. So you got the overview tab, and then you can go and look at the traffic analytics in here. So what you can do is go in and see if you have a competitor, right? You can go and see basically what their trend is by device, let's say by a time period, unique visitors, their top pages. So you can spy and see what their top pages are, and maybe like see if you can write content around that. You can see their top subfolders, subdomains, traffic sources. So you can get all sorts of stuff. And so if you've never seen this before, this is what people call a Sankey map, I believe. I work with a lot of data scientists, and so that's the only reason why I know this. But you can see here, these are the top sources of traffic, and they flow into CNN, and then where they flow out to, which is really cool to see. All right, so I'm gonna go to one of my blogs that I own here, and I'm gonna show you that information. So you can see here, I have an authority score of 10. I literally only have like 40 some blog posts on here. So this blog is one that I own, that I haven't continued writing content on. There's about 40 different blog posts on there. But as you can see, it has an authority score of 10. And then it says that I have organic search traffic per month of 725. I actually get 4,500 page views a month with this blog specifically. And as you can see here, these are the organic keywords that I rank for. These are my main competitors. So you can see all those different details here. So I'm going to go to traffic analytics and look at that Sankey diagram as well, because I am actually interested to see like where they're coming from, which would be interesting. They are coming from Google. So all my content or all of my traffic is from Google. So that's pretty interesting. And then they don't go anywhere else apparently. And my traffic distribution is a lot from South Africa, which is interesting. I don't know why South Africa would care about chatbots so much. So that'd be an interesting tidbit to kind of research if I wanted to go and create more content around this. So that is SEMRush. And this is how I literally like look for content. Another way that I use SEMRush is I do the same thing, but for a specific blog content. So let's say I'm writing content on a Starbucks iced white latte recipe, right? So if I look at copycat recipe for iced white latte, okay. So I'm gonna go here, and it looks like Copycat apparently has a recipe, and I want to know whether or not I can outrank this. So what I'll do is I'll copy and paste this URL, and then I'll go in here and go to semrush.com info / just like that. And then what I can see is how much traffic, and I normally multiply this by like 3 or 4. So this is how much traffic they're getting. This is their ranking. It looks like let's see, all time. Looks like they wrote it around September, October timeframe. And if you scroll down here, you can see what their organic rankings are. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on view, okay? And this is by specific blog post, which is interesting, all right? So if I go in here and I take a look, they are ranking. And what's really cool about this tool is I can filter. So let's say I wanted to filter to their top 3 positions, okay? And let's say I'm trying to rank for this. I want to look at keywords that are about 1,000 to 10,000, okay? Because the intent is I want to write about iced white coffee, and I want to see words that I should be using inside of my content copy so that like I can continue to rank for this. Obviously you shouldn't keyword stuff, but this is one way to do it. So you can see that, hey, maybe I'll have like one H2 header in my blog with this title and one in this title, and then also kind of sprinkle in some of these like smaller long tail keywords, right, in there. So how to make Starbucks iced white chocolate mocha would be #1. So I can see all that in here. And then you can see here the SERP features. If you don't know what SERP features are, is if you go and look at Google's results, these are SERP features, right? So this is a SERP. This is actually a plugin. So if you guys don't have this already, this is a pretty cool tool. It's free. I'll go ahead and link down below. I don't know what it's called. It's like keyword something or another, but it gives you some ideas on other keywords that you could use in your blog content. So that's really how I use SEMRush for the most part. There's a ton of other stuff that you can use, including position tracking. If you want to position, like if you know that your blog ranks for a certain keyword and you wanted to track that over time, you could do that. But all of this stuff you could actually do like manually, but this kind of helps automate it a little bit. I mean, there is a ton that you can use, but really my goal with SEMRush is just to spy on other blog content that I already want to write about. And I just want to make sure that I have the right keywords that I should sprinkle in my content, and also understand who is already ranking for those keywords and how much they're ranking for that content. And also it gives me like ideas on traffic that I could expect to steal away or whatever. So that is SEMRush. The next tool I want to share with you guys is Google Search Console. So Google Search Console was also known as Google Webmasters, but I think they changed it a few years ago. So what I want to share with you is how I use Google Search Console. You'll definitely have to go and set this up. That's a whole different like other tutorial. But once you have it set up, this is how I use it. All right, so the Google Search Console, I find the interface pretty confusing initially when I first go into it, but once I understood their user interface and how to kind of navigate around, it made more sense. So I just want to share with you guys the things that I didn't realize that you should be doing. So you guys see these little boxes right here when you get in here? Like these are clickable. I don't know if you guys knew that, but there were two boxes here, the average CTR click-through rate and the average position, which was never clicked whenever I came in here. So I never looked at it and it didn't make any sense to me. So I want you guys to know that these little boxes, when you see they're like colorful, you can click on them. So just FYI there. So the only thing that I actually look at, there's two things. First off is performance. So if my site's like set up pretty well, right? Performance is where I go in, and this allows me to see the keywords that people are searching for on this blog. All right, when I go in here, I actually skip the overview tab because it doesn't really tell me much that I can do, but the tactical stuff is all in the performance section. So I'll go in the performance section, and if my intent right now for my blog is to understand, hey, where am I ranking the most at? Google's going to tell me that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on average position and uncheck total impressions. And I can see where I'm ranking down here. And if I go to top queries, I can see where I'm position number 1 versus like position number, I don't know, 150, right? So I'll go ahead and do 250. So I can see all 250, or so that I'm not having to page back and forth. And you can see here, if you search for this, my blog will probably come up as number 1. And if you guys are stealing this content, hopefully you're not, but I'm telling you, like, there's not a lot of traffic volume on here. I learned my lesson. So I'm just letting it sit right now. But yeah, I found it really hard to write content on, to be honest. But here you can see, like, these are the things that people are writing about, right? So I can go in here and look, and it might give me some ideas on things I should be writing about. All right, so what I'll tend to do is probably export this if I can, and then look at positions where I'm like number 10, right? And so normally this area will give me ideas on content I can write about. So this is telling me, hey, I'm already on page, I'm already ranked number 10, like down below, probably even on the second page. If I wrote better content on my blog about this topic, then maybe I'll rank number 1. So it's already telling me, hey, for this crappy site that I already have, like, I'm already ranking number 10 for these search terms. So if I did a better job, wrote 1,500 words on this blog post about these topics with these keywords, and then also use SEMRush to look up other keywords that people are using on the blog posts that are ranking above me, I could probably rank number 1 for that content. That is how I think of this tool. Now, when I go up here and I look at click-through rate, this is just telling me, hey, of the people that saw my content, how, like in the search results, how many of them are actually going and clicking on the link. I don't really look at this, to be honest. It's helpful, but honestly, the average position is the better one that I use. With average click-through rate, I think what it could tell me, along with total impressions, is that I can see how many of my queries, like search terms that people are looking up, how many of them are getting impressions and what the click-through rate is. So this one right here, chatbot value proposition, it's showing up 1,200 times within a span of 3 months, right? And then the click-through rate is only 1.7%. So that tells me that either I need to change my title a bit, or I need to change the meta description on my blog post so that when they actually see the search query in here like this, they want to click on it. So something's telling me that people aren't clicking on it because of the title and meta description, not necessarily because the Google bot didn't think that the content was good enough. Okay, so Google obviously thinks it's good enough because it's ranking at the top. Maybe I just need to change the verbiage of my title and meta description just a bit. So that is overall how I use Google Search Console to, number one, find ideas for my blog posts with data-driven insights, and number two, making sure that I know, hey, like of things that are already ranking, what can I do better so that people are actually clicking through and converting and looking at my traffic. So those are the two things I look for in Google Search Console. First off, what's my average position and what other pieces of content can I write so that I'm ranking at the top? And secondly, of the content that is showing in the search engine with my content, which ones maybe have really bad title copy so that I can make it better and increase the click-through rate. All right, the other one that I wanted to share with you is SEO Book. You have to sign up. It says join free here, and I don't pay anything for this. So this is the keyword density tool, and this tells me also for, let's say, this link right here, okay? If I take this link and I go in here and paste it and hit submit, it tells me what their page title is, what their meta description is, and this tool is what I use to look up meta descriptions. So this page tells you the page title, the meta description, how many words are on that blog post, and the unique words that are on there. And it's really cool. So let's say you're being very consistent, you're writing content based on what people are searching for, and you're doing your research beforehand, so you're not writing like content that no one's gonna look for, right? So you've got your top 10 competitors that are already ranking for the key term that you're trying to focus on, right? I would go into this tool and look at the number of words that they have on their blog post already, and I would add 20% on top of that, knowing that that's my target. And then after that, I would then craft a description all before I wrote a blog post to make sure that it's clickable, and I also get ideas from the other blog posts that are already out there, so that I can kind of mimic it, not copy it, but mimic it, or at least draw some ideas from it. So this tool is really cool to kind of understand word count, meta description, and also what other words that they're using in the blog post. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, Google obviously wanted to rank this at the top for whatever that key term was. So let me go back and show you what that key term was. Copycat recipe for iced white latte. And so I clicked on probably the fourth one down. So if I look at this, why did Google rank this up there? So here you can see how many words were white chocolate mocha. Apparently it was 17 times. Iced white chocolate was used 15 times. The iced white was used 7 times. So you can see like basically what words should you be using in your blog post so that you can be ranked at the top. So 17 is a lot actually for a blog post that only has 726 words. That's interesting. So there's that. The next tool I want to share with you is the Keyword Planner tool. Now the Keyword Planner tool is part of the Google AdWords suite, basically. So you have to sign up for a Google AdWords account, and then after you do that, if you go to tools and you go to Keyword Planner, you'll be able to see this view. However, the caveat is you have to make sure that you add a billing credit card on there, or else you'll get like these ranges in here instead of specific numbers like you're seeing here. So here I am in the Keyword Planner tool. Again, all I did was go to tools and then Keyword Planner tool. And then what you can do is actually go in and search for key phrases, right? So if I wanted to search for, I don't know, white chocolate latte. Again, this tool is actually made for people who want paid search traffic. Here's a caveat to using the Keyword Planner tool. The Keyword Planner tool is a tool used for people who are trying to get paid traffic to their site, okay? It's a little nuanced, but when you're creating blog content, you're probably focused on getting organic traffic to your site. It's free traffic from Google, right? But with the keyword planner tool, this tool, Google is saying, hey, for those that want to pay for ad traffic, we're going to help you curate content or curate ideas for content, and also make sure that your ads are showing based on the intent of the searcher. So whenever you're putting it in here, it's mainly for like product sales or things that you, or service sales that Google has curated for you. The way that I like to think of this is if you have a nail, right? Best tool is to use a hammer, but you don't have a hammer, so you're going to use a mallet. So it's almost like you're using a tool that can kind of work, but it's not specifically for organic keyword traffic. So I hope that helps. But it's free. And it's also coming from Google where you're wanting to rank. And so SEMRush is like a third-party tool that's guessing at the Google algorithm, whereas with the keyword planner tool, it's directly from Google. With the search console, it's directly from Google. Like Google is telling you, hey, your site sucks, this is what you need to do. Or hey, if you want to run ads and paid search campaigns, great, we're going to give you the tools to help you so that we can make money. So that's the intent behind like Google Ads and the keyword planner tool. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. As you can see, the white chocolate latte, you can see here, these are the ideas that Google is giving you, average monthly searches, competition, and how much people are willing to pay for here. So what I would say is that if there is a price here, like there are people paying for ads here. So what that means is that, let me see, people are paying for ads here or down below. So let me go find something. Okay, so I'm gonna go to Google Search Console. I'm gonna show you guys something. Let's say I'm looking for this mouse that I have, okay? I'm looking for this mouse, I'm shopping for it. You can see here that there's a shopping carousel here, and then a bunch of different organic content down below, videos. And so if you're trying to write organic search content for this, chances are you're not going to make it to this top page. Like you're literally going to be behind on like probably page 10 or something. So what you want to do is do versus the, I don't know, you don't want to do Reddit. So let's say to ergonomics, right? Let's see what ranks there. So you can see RT rings, which is not from Logitech, would rank there. So that's really interesting, Bolt.io. So this would be a great one to actually create content on. So here, what I can do is go into Google Search Console, or what I can do is go into Keyword Planner tool and see if someone's searching for it. And so you can see that MX Vertical versus Master 3. I mean, if this is something that you write content on, you can see there's low competition, but the average monthly searches kind of sucks, right? So it's a great way to research some of the keywords that you would want to use. Overall, those are a bunch of tools that I use to kind of like curate content, figure out what I want to write about, and also understand like, hey, is this content going to rank based on the competitors that are already out there? The worst thing you could possibly do is spend a ton of time on content, right? So you spend like an hour and a half creating this content, sometimes even more, only to realize that you're never ever going to rank for that content. That would be horrible. I've done it in the past. I've written 600 blog posts that, you know, half of them were terrible, but at the same time, that was time that I spent. And so I wasn't efficient with my time, but these tools will allow you to be more efficient. So if you can just take the time to research, I know it's really hard when your goal is to create content all the time. I keep saying that, create content, but if you want to level up your game and actually rank for content, once you figure out that this is a content game, your second step to leveling up is making sure that you do research so that the time that you do spend is spent on quality things that will move the meter for your blog. I hope that helps. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to leave a comment below. I'll also link out to all of this stuff down below as well.